Hey, this is Matt once again. What about videos? Another paid request. It's time for Nate. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for a pilot called Hound Town from 1989, which I guess this was a pilot that was lost for a long time, but then eventually someone found it. And it's for a Ralph Bakshi cartoon. Now, Ralph Bakshi, if you don't know who that is, he's the guy that made Fritz the Cat and its sequel, made Cool World, made a bunch of movies back in the day, and for the most part, more adult oriented cartoon fare. So it's interesting that they got him to make like a pilot. I think it was supposed to be on NBC, maybe? And I can see why this did go to a series because it's I don't really know what the audience would have been for this. Does that? I mean, 1989 NBC. I mean, that's the time when you had what Elf maybe had his cartoon around there, and you had other channels. CBS. You had Ninja Turtles. There's Garfield. There's those type of cartoons. But then you have this cartoon where it's about dogs. You have this smaller dog called Rusty, who's the nice guy, which he kind of sounds a little bit like a Michael J. Fox type. You have the bigger dog, who's the Napoleon. He's trying to be more like Bill Murray with his mannerisms. Just, I don't know, just his cadence, his voice is like someone said, try to do Bill Murray. And then there's this other dog, a bulldog, which he's forced to wear this pink sweater, and maybe it was supposed to be hinted that he may be gay. I don't know. But pretty much Rusty the dog, his human owners leave him at home because they're going to grandma's. So he's left alone. He's watching some program. At one time, he's humming Harry Belafonte's "Day-O, Day-O, he coming, he wanna go home." Actually, I forget if he's humming it, or if I think he's listening to the music. I'm sorry, I already forgot a lot of this because when I say that it seems a bit raunchy, it's a lot of innuendo, and the sexual kind, where Napoleon, his owner, tells him to get away. Napoleon's looking at the human lady's ass while she's doing aerobics, and his saliva is pretty much dripping down as he's looking at her doing aerobics. The male owner tells him to shoo away, and he's like, "She's all yours, except for the pool man." So I guess they assume that the wife is sleeping with the pool man. They look at a dog and go, "Wow, nice suit." So it's like a Sasha, a show dog, where she's got titties, but she doesn't have titties. This is other dog who is much more obese, but Napoleon wants nothing to do with her, although I guess they had a fling and he may have a kid, but he avoids her because she's obese and stuff. Napoleon tries to hit on Sasha, and like I say, it's a lot of innuendo, a lot of sexual dialogue. That's I'm kind of sitting there going, again, who is this for? Because I don't know if an adult would care to watch a cartoon on NBC about dogs wanting, to hump another dog, or, for all I know, wanting to hump a human. Or Napoleon, even though he knows Rusty, the nicer, kinder dog, likes this Sasha. Napoleon's like, yeah, I'll talk to her for you. But then he wants to get a piece of tail for his own. I think one of the dialogues is even, wow, she's got a nice piece of tail. It's one of those things where it comes off more gross than anything. Because that's the thing. Like, if you, the reason this pilot obviously wasn't a success is because you're trying to do two things at once, and you can't. You're trying to be a Ralph Bakshi movie, where it's raw, it's raunchy, and you can be a bit over the top, but then there's also in some movies a bit of witty satire, or at least sometimes satire, whether you find it's witty or not, about the country at the time, or what's going on in the world, or what the animals represent, whether it be race or culture, whatever the case may be. Or if you just like, hey, I want to see more crazy, edgy raunch, you could deal way more with a movie than an NBC cartoon. But then for kids, if they're watching it, maybe they'll understand some of it. If a parent walks by, they hear some of this, you go, what the hell? Shh, earmuffs, earmuffs, earmuffs. Because the episode ends with our dog Rusty. There's a party of all the other dogs. He assumes that Napoleon's trying to get his shindig on with Sasha, and he's trying to, but Sasha rebuffs his advances, leaves the party, sees Rusty out there, kind of warms up to Rusty's innocence. She tells her story about being a show dog, but then I guess she ate a hot dog or something, so she was pushed aside. And so Rusty's trying to show her the finer ways of being a dog in a much more innocent, nicer fashion. Now, I don't know in the future if those two would have been an item, or in the future, Napoleon, we would have found out about his kid, who's with this other obese. Because we also get the idea that Napoleon, after his advances are rebuffed, he like gets thrown somewhere, he accidentally ingests some alcohol. I guess you get the idea that the obese dog maybe grabbed him and took advantage of him in the bushes. Does he wakes up and that's more in the bushes? And he's like, wait, Rusty, you're with Sasha? Then who was I with? And there's the obese dog. Oh no. So a hangover and having sex with someone that you didn't want to for a kids cartoon on NBC. Again, you kind of sit there and go, gee, I wonder why this wasn't further along in success. Especially for 1989. Maybe in the era where you had a bit more like Beavis and Butthead and of course South Park and but even then I didn't really find it that funny. It's not really anything clever about the humor. And also it had a really annoying laugh track. Like a sitcom. Yes, it's a cartoon. I mean, cartoons way back in the day would have a laugh track. I remember the early stages of Scooby Doo. Where Are You? I think it was the first season where it had the laugh track. Because I don't think all the seasons did. It might have been the first season. Don't quote me on that. And which is a laugh track to me does not work on a cartoon. You just say it doesn't work at all. But in live action, like Home Improvement, when I saw that episode Everybody Loves Raymond, I could deal with it. It could be a decent compliment. Part of your mind can assume that it is the audience watching, but that's the thing. Is it really the audience and their laugh track, or they just add it after the fact? I never knew the answer to that. Because a lot of these sitcoms were filmed in front of a live audience. And I'm sure for a sketch show like SNL or Mad TV, it's supposed to be the genuine reaction of the audience. But sometimes these sitcoms, you go, well, is that truly what the audience felt, or again, just added later on? Just they could do that in post if they need to. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think a laugh track works for a cartoon. And to me, it was more annoying and what's the word I'm looking for? Distracting than funny. But I mean, it is out there. I guess if you're a big fan of Ralph Bakshi, which again, I've liked some of his stuff. I mentioned Fritz the Cat and the sequel, and not a fan of Cool World, but I don't even think Ralph Bakshi's a fan of that film either. He got a lot of there's a lot of behind the scenes drama about the making of that movie. Ralph Bakshi pretty much trying to make the movie he truly wanted to make, all that jazz. But I guess if you're a diehard Ralph Bakshi fan, you'd give it a look. But yeah, but it is interesting to look at these pilots that were either lost or never to be seen. Does in a weird way, that's a fascinating thing to me. The short-lived TV shows or the TV shows that never were. I don't know why that fascinated me. Maybe it's because I like finding out new information about shows that I never knew existed. How you kind of judge it, and then you kind of make the decision. Does it make sense? They never went anywhere with this. Does it not? I mean, there are short-lived shows that you wish would have been longer. Daybreak with Taye Diggs. That's a good show. That only lasted one season. Got the DVD there. Which I'm glad because it's not every day. I mean, it's not every show that only lasts one season gets a DVD set. But I guess someone knew that show was a bit better than usual, so that did. Thankfully. Grade the Bunny. I remember not minding that show. That only got one season. I think some would say Freaks and Deeps, that show, or what was that show? Firefly. There's other shows of that nature. There was a show called Space Rangers, which I remember having fun with, but I haven't seen that in a few decades. Brimstone, I remember being decent, but yet I haven't seen that in forever. And even pilots, I mean, there was the Beverly Hills Cop had a pilot, which if you look hard enough, you can find it and see why that was not the why they didn't pick it up. But anyway, yeah, this if you want dogs being horny, that's pretty much the consistent joke. Dogs being horny. That's kind of the one trick pony of this, and oh, you do hear the bulldog at one point. You hear him take a leak because the owners are fighting, and he's trying to claw the door. They're not listening to him. So you hear him take a leak. He's pushed outside. That he's pretty much tossed the audience or tossed to his friends. Go, I'm sorry I had to do that, but they'd be talking. They'd be yelling at each other for hours if I didn't. Because the two kids are trying to pick on it, like being total terrors, and the mom loves the dog and puts the pink sweater on it. And the bulldog says something to the fact of those two kids should have been aborted or something like that. Some of that nature. Or go to the doctor. Pretty much those two kids should not have been born or should die. So again, maybe some would feel it's ahead of its time and being a bit more adult humor. Yeah, I just don't think that fit in 1989. Okay, maybe in the era, but at the same time, I didn't really think that was a funny episode as a good showing. So, it was more an interesting artifact than good. So, take that for what you will. Or if you want to see a dog staring at a woman's ass while she's doing aerobics, I guess you could. Maybe this would be for you. But it's on YouTube. If you can't find it on YouTube, I know it's on Daily Motion. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. The animation is there. Nothing extravagant or anything. I've seen better. I've seen worse. The only music I remember is the take on Harry Belafonte's Deo, which I always think of Beetlejuice when I think of that song. He said Deo, he I go man, he wanna go home. He said Daisy, Daisy, Deo. Hey, Mr. Tallyman Banana. I do like that song. But that said, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.